I like black and white because of the purity of it. I'm very interested in how people dress. I'm interested in color. I'm interested in people, period. I like to know their stories. I became really fascinated the very first time that I saw a piece of white paper immersed in some chemicals, and all of a sudden an image erupted, and I was hooked from that time on. The display that is at your office, they run from 1976 to 2019, I believe. Some of the photographs were very, very special and dear to my heart. Some of the others they resonated because of the color or because of it was community and people in the community.
Now, I love this picture. When I walked in, I recognized the guy right off the bat. The rent too damn high image.
Yeah. Well, I shot that in Harlem, in New York. I was on 125th and Lenox Avenue. And that's really special because 125th Street is a place where Malcolm X used to speak all the time. I had not been to Harlem in a long time, and it had become so gentrified. And in the 70s and 80s, you could buy one of those brownstone houses for like $60,000. Now the same house is selling for $1 million. So that meant that a lot of people who could live there comfortably can't live there anymore because they can't afford to live there. And the fact that he was saying that the rent is too damn high, it is. I happen to be on a tour, and I happened to see that out of the bus, and I said, stop this bus. It was a sculpture that was given to the city by this architect who created it. And it was just really remarkable. When I talked about something calling to you and telling you to come closer and actually see it, I did. I was glad that I was able to capture it in the daytime. I met these three sisters. They had this certain kind of dance that they did with their shoulders. And so I would always try to imitate them. And whenever I would see them, I would try to do the shoulder dance, which I really tried. But they would always correct me. Now, this is how you do it. And we became friends. And one day they just asked me would I document them, the three sisters. And that's how I ended up with that photograph. Yeah. I think that sometimes you just have to recognize. You have to see it. You have to feel it. You have to make them feel comfortable. Especially being a photographer, the thing that's really important is the comfort. Once a person feels comfortable, it's easier. What I like about the Stone Arch Bridge is such a touristy place to go. You have walkers, you have joggers, you have people pushing strollers, cyclists. But to be there at night and hear the stillness and hear the Mississippi flowing and to be able to capture that is really a remarkable experience, especially no one else is around, just you. So you are one with the Stone Arch Bridge at nighttime. So I got a chance to really document it, how I wanted to see it. and how I wanted to preserve it. And it was a very unique experience. I first heard Betty Carter in 1956 with Ray Charles. Betty was a champion to me because she was a revolutionary. She was the first black woman to have her own record company. And the reason for that is because she did not want to compromise her style. What I found is that when you're photographing musicians, then you have to photograph them for a while. And then you have to stop, put your camera away so that you can enjoy it. Because when you're photographing a musician, then you're waiting for that time of total excitation when that musician is at their uppermost emotional pitch. And so I was mesmerized that I was able to capture what I call the definitive image of her, because having the love for her and being able to wait just for that split second to really capture the height of her emotions did something very unique for me. And it's one of the images that I love the most. It makes me kind of emotional sometimes when I think about it. Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Very awesome.
Yeah. There were a group of indigenous dancers who had come in from all over the country. It was like 200 different dancers who had different styles. And so I was just attracted to the feather arrangements that I saw, and the spectrum might not be as wide in terms of the color, but it was the coloring and how the arrangements that drew my attention to that capturing that image. In 1990, I was in Selma to document the 25th anniversary of the March On from Selma to Montgomery, Alabama. And while I was there, I got to march and help to register people to vote. I was there, I spent about 8 days with John Lewis, and John introduced me, well, I should say Congressman John Lewis. He introduced me to so many people, but the best thing was being able to walk along with him and talking about how that march inspired him to be a champion for the people. Once I ended up in Birmingham, Maya Angelou was there doing a speech. And I encountered, and the first thing I remember, she said, "Now don't sneak up on me now, that's what happened to Martin," but the thing was, she was just so gracious, and I was able to photograph her in her pure essence. There's a lot of history, and so when I get a chance to interview someone or to capture them, then I want to try to learn as much about them as I possibly can. We have to continue to document our history. This is what we have. We have to preserve our history for future generations. And everyone has the ability to be that visual historian. That's my part in the work.